next month, her first album, Music of the Sun, was also released to mixed reviews. Although sales were strong due to the popular single, some critics believed Rihanna was just a one-hit wonder and a cutesy derivative of Beyonce.
I feel like the Caribbean influenced her music a great deal in the very beginning. If you listen to Music of the Sun, almost every single track had somewhat of a Caribbean backbeat to it.
People didn't know who Rihanna was. People knew her from her school, her friends and whatnot, but not like to say, there is a Rihanna. We've seen it, so the first time most Bajans would have heard of Rihanna is from Pon de Replay.
When I first heard Rihanna's song, the first song she released, Pon de Replay, I liked the song. I liked the Caribbean nature, I liked the dance vibe, the energy. I thought it was a good, it felt like just one of the reggae rhythms, that's out there, that's played in the club, that's popular, people like it, but I didn't think that there's anything more to it.
Yeah, a lot of her dance hall, reggae cultural background was in that particular song. And, people know that region for Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, those kinds of acts. You've got Sean Paul, Kevin Little. So she's one of the first females to come out with that. I think a lot of people, it did well on the charts. A lot of people liked the song, but I think a lot of people thought at the time, one-hit wonder, we're not going to hear from her again, etc.
Despite being dismissed by some as a flash in the pan, young fans still fell in love with Rihanna. She built a loyal following traveling around the world as the opening act for Gwen Stefani, and later touring with the Pussycat Dolls. To stay relevant, she went hard at work on her next album, Girl Like Me, with Evan Rogers, and getting help from producer and label mate Ne-Yo.
Right now I'm in the studio working on a brand new album, which is going to hit stores in a few months, pretty soon. The single should be out in a month or two, so look out for that.
When Rihanna first came out, they tried 2 singles. The singles, Pon de Replay did fine. The second single was kind of okay, but the record company abandoned that album. And within a few months, they put out a second record. So here you have a brand new artist. Within 6 months, she has 2 albums.
I thought when we had our first album and she sold 1 million copies and Pon de Replay was #1, I thought, this is incredible, right? I couldn't have predicted it this big, this fast, but I definitely believed in her from day one.
Rihanna's dogged determination paid off. She scored her first #1 hit in the United States, SOS. It was a bubblegum pop song with a catchy beat. Rihanna was an up-and-coming star. She made the rounds on the red carpet scene and had a cameo in the popular teen movie sequel, Bring It On, All or Nothing, that was released in August 2006.
SOS was a completely different type of sound for Rihanna.
Not only did it give her, her first taste of endorsement deals, but we saw her kind of shed this, jeans and hoodie type of girl, and she was bearing skin.
Music was starting to become stale because there was nobody new coming on the scene that was really doing anything. And I think we were Destiny Child out, and we wanted something new.
While Rihanna was gaining in momentum in the pop world, a troubling trend was taking place in the world of hip-hop. In 2007, CD sales were rapidly declining. The bling-bling and gangsta rap era that had dominated the music landscape began to show signs of wear and tear. Meanwhile, Rihanna, who had essentially grown up in the music industry, was coming into her own as a young woman. She was looking to shed her teeny bopper image for an edgier look and sound. She put together an elite team of writers and producers that included Timbaland, Ne-Yo, Chris Brown, and Justin Timberlake to take her to yet another level. The result was her third album, Good Girl Gone Bad.
And I think what Rihanna has done is really to try to step outside that box. And instead of being in a position where she was compared to Beyonce, I think she just wanted to do what she wanted to do. And I would say that Rihanna has been very smart in terms of the team of people that she's worked with, because she understands the parameters in which she best sounds on a recording. So her songs she may not hit a note like Patti LaBelle on a song, but in the context of the song, it's fine.
When I heard Unfaithful, and I saw when I was on tour with her and the reaction of the crowd and seeing how they reacted, and tears, it came to my eye.
We had success with the second album. They told me they wanted me to help on the third. I was more than willing because, like I said, it's Baby Sis, anything for Baby Sis, So I figured it only made sense for us to do a duet together, same label. That's my homegirl, so it makes sense.
She's not going to give you, huge vocals like Mariah Carey or Beyonce. She uses her instrument more like someone like a Jennifer Lopez, where she's kind of just a vessel for, great pop hooks, and and she can do great ballads, but at the core of it, she's just 100% a pop singer.
I always think it's 10% talent, 90% marketing and promotion. And L.A. Reid was a genius in how he marketed and promoted Rihanna.
You know, she has some really pretty high-powered guys that's, you know, is guiding her career thus far.
Justin Timberlake, he wrote a song for me, it's called Rehab, and of course Tim Young produced it. He also produced a couple other tracks.
She took her identity. She took her sexuality. She took her Caribbean exotic look. And then she just combined that with what works in America.
She's appealing to a broader audience now, so she's not giving us 100% Caribbean. She's branching out and doing more, you know, dance, more, you know, Europop and a little bit of other things.
But what would take Rihanna to the next stage and put her on a footing with the other pop icons she had watched as a kid growing up in Barbados was the hit single, Umbrella. She teamed up with mentor Jay-Z and created the summer anthem of 2007.
And then Umbrella.
Umbrella was such a big record and had so many different levels of comprehension that it was just one of those runaway records. We call them infectious records. And an infectious record, or a reaction record, is when you hear that record, after the first verse, you can sing the hook on the second verse, you know you got them.
Umbrella was the big song that cemented her and became her signature tune.
It was completely different than anything else that we heard on the radio, and Rihanna's voice is very unique.
The song seemed to be tailor-made for Rihanna, but it wasn't. Terrius Nash, aka The Dream, originally wrote the song for pop singer Britney Spears, who turned it down. The song was then sent to Mary J. Blige, who also declined to record the song. But it was Rihanna who made the song and turned it into an international hit.
I just thought it was really fascinating that they looked at that type of song, which to me, I couldn't see Britney doing. Yes, Britney does urban, and she does urban well, but that song was a little bit more urban than I feel Britney would have done. And it was also a little bit slower than I feel she would have done. And that chorus, going back to her island roots, I feel like that's what made that chorus pop, because the way she, you know, pronounced it, it stayed in our mind.
It made her into a mega superstar. It was that one record. That one record that catapulted her from being just a new kid on the block, so to speak, to on her way to superstardom.
This one just seemed to click, and you got the added cachet of Jay-Z, who was coming through his renaissance again at that particular point in time. And it just was, I guess you'd say, a perfect storm. I remember her being on the Today Show during one of their summer concerts, and the plaza was just packed to infinity down the street and back. And when you got these, I guess what stuck for me was these little young girls down here singing with her on Umbrella.
And when Jay heard it, he fell in love with it too, and he surprised me with the collaboration. He just said, "We have a surprise for you," and they played it for me, and I could not feel much better than that. I was just blown away. The song kept progressing, kept getting better as it went on. And when I finished it the first time, I remember I wanted to hear it more, and I just wanted to keep hearing it. And I had the demo, and I kept listening to the demo. I was like, I need this song. Like, I need to record it. It felt so fresh and original. It felt like a song that I've never heard before.
I don't think anybody else has done that song other than Rihanna.
In 2007, Rihanna could do no wrong. She secured national and international endorsements. She began to grace the cover of music and fashion magazines and became pop's new it girl.
She put on her leather, and she was putting on her crop tops and her big heels, and she cut her hair, and that hair was like so iconic for her, and she was wielding her sexuality about. She was taking up prisoners at that point.
It just really is an expression of where I am right now in my life, how I feel, where I am in my career. I just, you know, I want to break away from that innocent, girly image that I always had before and just do me more. And it just really shows the world that it's my liberation. Like, I just freed myself of that forced image, and now I'm just being me and having a great time doing it.
Rihanna's new musical direction and fashion sensibility paid major dividends. She was a big winner at the 2007 MTV Video Music Awards, racking up honors for Best Video of the Year and Monster Song of the Year for Umbrella. She also received 5 other nominations, including Female Artist of the Year.
I used to watch this every single year on television, and then I used to say, you know, one of these days, finally, so I'm excited. I'm not tired of making music. I love making music. I love performing. You know, the whole process, it can be tiring, and, you know, as a human being, I naturally would get tired, but I love what I do, and that's most important.
I look at her more of someone like a Madonna.